Good afternoon, good morning, good evening. Welcome to the Security Table. This is Chris Romeo, joined by Izar Tarandash, Matt Coles. They are, turns out, constitutional scholars, which will play out in our conversation today.
We're doomed. Doomed, I say.
Okay, maybe not constitutional scholars, but they're scholars and gentlemen. So that's...
I just want to know who's Bill.
Yeah, who is
Watch the
Bill?
video. Watch the video, will you?
And why does he live on Capitol Hill?
Yeah.
Why is he singing a song at an after-school special? Remember
Why
after-school
does everybody want
specials?
to sign him?
But they don't have after-school specials anymore because kids are supposed to, I guess, go outside or something or play their Xbox.
What?
Which was
tablet.
Oh,
and it's kind of funny because that video or that TV show actually happened during the time when people were going outside. and
Yeah,
being
nobody was
free-range
watching
kids.
it. Nobody was watching it. We were, it was after-school special.
Well, that explains
what's
a
this
lot.
outside you people keep referring to?
That's true. For most of our audience, outside is the place that you normally experience it when walking from your office door to your car, and then from your car
and then you
to
have
your
to turn
house.
and then you have to turn and clean the lenses. Oh no, this is a different sci-fi thing. Yeah. Have you guys watched Silo?
No, not yet.
Oh, it's good. It's good.
Okay, there's a long list of things. That's the problem with entertainment via television these days. There are so many different things, and people are always like, "Oh, you need to watch this. You need to watch that."
No,
And
that's not a problem with entertainment. That's a problem with work. It keeps us from going back to the TV and watching all the good things that are in there.
And once again, coming back to that idea of outside.
Oh yeah.
Which wait, you did a recording of Security Table from an outside location.
That was,
So
that was just
chirping.
that was just a background, wasn't it? I mean,
No,
one
it
of
was
those
a
virtual
it was in
background.
green screen.
It's undisclosed. I was in an undisclosed location.
Yeah, he was
you
the what do they call it? The person who stays in the bunker.
A
No,
designated
I was-
survivor.
Designated
I was
survivor.
I was setting the infrastructure for today's episode,
Okay.
where we
By
go
being
into
outside.
an undisclosed direction.
Ah,
and
okay. Well, we should
we
probably
get into
get
a
to
bunker.
that topic
and-
before everybody hangs up the call.
What do we do today,
So-
Pinky?
Try and take
Matt's-
over the world.
Matt found an interesting bill in the United States Congress.
Not a gym, a
You-
bill.
Yes, U.S. bill proposes 21st century privateers to take on cybercrime. Wow. So, and then there's a picture of Johnny Depp in this article, like a AI generated version of what is he? What's Jack Sparrow?
Jack Sparrow.
Captain Jack Sparrow. So all of a sudden, I'm starting to get on board with this idea.
Parsnip,
Because-
parsley, parlay. That's it.
Party.
So we get to be pirates,
Savvy?
basically. Security professionals become pirates. So Arizona lawmaker David Schweiker introduced a bill called Scam Farms, Mark and reprisal authors. I thought it was Marquee for a second.
Marquee.
I don't think it is Marquee. I
No,
think
it's led.
It's
Is it?
Mark. It's Mark.
It's Mark.
it's Mark. Yeah, it's a
Marquee
legal
came
term.
from it, I think, but
Yeah, yeah.
Mark is how it's pronounced.
So take
So
two.
wait, we have Mark and Bill.
And Bill.
And Bill.
I'm
So
just trying
this-
to keep the names.
Lawmaker created this bill, Scam Farms Mark and Reprisal Authorization Act of 2025, which allows state-sanctioned pirates to target cyber criminals threatening the United States. What could possibly go wrong?
I was waiting for that question. What could possibly go wrong? Let's see. How did pirates turn out for us? How did privateers turn out for us in the 1800s?
Actually, it came out nice. I mean, there was a
depends
lot-
on whose side you were on, I suppose.
Right. On the side of the privateer. I mean, there was a lot. If I remember my history lessons correctly, there was a lot of cleaning up. And if I remember my HBO series correctly, there was a lot of adventure and hanging from chandeliers and jumping through the window and people saying "savvy" at the end of the sentence.
Didn't-
So
Didn't
yeah,
everybody have
successful.
scurvy?
I'm getting
Did they get scurvy? That's all I
Isn't
can think
scurvy-
about for pirates.
Isn't scurvy something that already hits basement dwellers anyway?
Yeah.
All right,
no,
so
no such
continuing just
as-
to set this up. So this is based on the article from Cointelegraph.com. The bill would allow the U.S. president to issue letters of marque to privately armed and equipped persons contracted by the government, authorizing them to employ all means reasonably necessary to seize property and detain or punish cyber criminals the president deems a threat. These threats include crypto theft, pig butchering schemes, ransomware, identity theft, accessing computers without auth, gathering sensitive personal data or classified information, online password trafficking, and compromising computers with malicious code.
Yep. The list in the bill is extensive and a little bit broad, but an interesting list. For those who are interested, this was Bill HR 4988. I don't know if you mentioned that specifically.
Nope. It's important in case they want to read it themselves.
In case they want to read it. It is short and it is in English, apparently, so we can it's easy for us to take a look at this.
I have questions.
We probably don't have answers, or at least not good, but we'll
try. I have questions. So it says here that issued letters of marque and reprisal. So many of privately armed and equipped persons and entities, as in the judgment of the president, the service may require, with suitable instructions to the leaders thereof.
Mm-hmm.
So it seems to say that you already have to be something that the government has authorized, and then you get the letter of marque.
Well, or you have to be known or pitch your services to the government, right? I mean, I suppose it's
right, but there is an authorization stage there somewhere. It's not just everybody.
Yeah.
Everybody can dial 1-800 letter of marque and become an offensive national asset.
Yeah, and it's not clear if the president does it directly or would do it directly, or if it's through the chain of command. The president authorizes it through whatever cyber service.
Oh, interesting. The U.S. This is ChatGPT's right. I wanted to know what a letter of marque and reprisal was because I've never heard that term. But one of the things it says is the U.S. Constitution still empowers Congress to grant letters of marque and reprisal, Article 1, Section 8, but the practice has been largely dormant since the early 19th century.
So
basically a license. It's basically a license. It's almost like James Bond, not a license to kill,
yes.
but it's a license to attack cyber criminals with all anything you want without any consequences.
I mean,
from the U.S. legal system.
It doesn't say whether it's cyber or kinetic or social or other or financial weapons, quote unquote, right? All means necessary.
I don't think the bill gets that specific. It just says with any enterprise involved in cybercrime. So it doesn't say anything about it doesn't say anything about the tactics or techniques that the privateer would be able to employ.
To employ all means reasonably necessary to seize outside the geographic boundaries of the United States the person and property of any individual or foreign government who the president determines as a member of criminal enterprise.
So the targets have to be outside of the jurisdiction of the United States.
Right, but they can include foreign governments.
Yeah.
I mean, it's an interesting idea. And the reason I think that is you guys would probably have some friends like this too. But I have a couple of people that I know who used to work in Columbia, Maryland, on the U.S. East Coast, if you know what I mean. And they're some of the most dangerous people, nicest people in the world. But when you talk to them and you realize how good they are, and it's frightening. But there is this whole kind of army of very highly skilled, I'll call them red teamer penetration testers at this point, that are legit, right? Because if you think about that side of security, there's a lot of people who are not legit in that category that pretend to be. But these are the people that are really dangerous. Like they'll get into anything that you point them at. And so basically this bill would allow those types of folks to operate on behalf of the US government to go after attackers in such a way that, they can have they could really cause some consequences.
So let's look at a couple of things there. So who says they are not already? Because as we know, those who can and know
do and those who can't talk. And we hear a lot of talk. from
Yeah, but this
places.
gets them. This basically just they don't have protection if they're doing it right now
Says who?
from prosecution. Yeah, I mean maybe it's happening behind the scenes in a
I mean,
classified way that we never know.
Well, even
if I
even if the U.S. government authorizes it, just say it's their part of their normal work. Even if the U.S. government authorizes it, it doesn't mean that they're free of prosecution around the world, right?
Well, this bill wouldn't keep them free of prosecution around the world either, though.
Right.
I'm talking about I'm talking out of my three-letter agency. The most of the things that are here on the list, if I understand correctly, are under the jurisdiction of the Secret Service, right? Now, the Secret Service is closer.
That's the Treasury Department, I believe, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they're closer to police than a spy agency, albeit the name. So, law organization, to the best of my knowledge, and if I remember my digital forensics days back, they can deputize people. So from here to deputizing someone to having them working in an offensive capability, I don't know if there is a problem with this here, but I could imagine it's happening. And if not, that's a great premise for a TV series. You heard it here first. I've got the copyright. Stay away, Carl. So,
all right. So let's look a little bit back at history then, right? So you had the military who were authorized to take action within certain bounds, and then you had privateers who were given effectively free rein to do whatever they felt was necessary to meet the objective of whatever they were given the work for. So I think that's a similar approach here, right? Where those in the agencies are certainly given opportunities and are required. That's part of their work in defending the U.S. and its interests, but they're under certain restrictions, right? They operate, as part of the U.S. government, and I'm just guess I don't know all the intricacies here, but I imagine they're have certain restrictions or boundaries, whereas a letter of marque, and as it's described here, would be able to use whatever reasonable means are necessary. It doesn't find what reasonable is.
That's a great legal term.
So
always gets
here's
thrown
the thing.
in. Reasonable.
I'm going to disagree with you a bit here, and I think that one of the biggest things, one of the things that separates the military and the three-letter agencies from these privateers is basically the plausible deniability, right? If it comes from an agent of the government, it's the government. It's by extension, it could be the big man himself just doing it himself. It's the government. It's the United States.
And they're subject to the Freedom of Information Act, for instance, and
all kinds of
Right.
limits. If it's an individual, then no. But then you don't know if it's operating in a lawful way or an unlawful way. On the other hand, the moment you give somebody a government document saying, hey, I let you do this on my behalf, what that means is basically you're being deputized by the government. So I would think that you are automatically under the same limits and
But you're out. Well,
and
no, I mean
restrictions.
this bill is saying there are no limits to what you can do.
well,
No, it
undefined
uses the
limits.
reasonable thing.
Oh, yeah, reasonable. But
But-
we,
Let's look at the real elephant in the room. Somebody here watched the YouTube channel Hacking the Scammer and said, hey, that's a good idea. Let's put a viewer on that, right? Because that's basically what this is talking about. It's going on the offensive against those farms and people who engage into those things in the industrial scale. But
yeah, and this
that-
is not
that's-
a new concept, right? We've been discussing and debating the whole hacking back for as long as I can remember.
Exactly.
It probably started in the late 90s when
Yeah.
when I got into security. I remember people started talking about this. So not a new idea.
Right, the
but
best defense is a good offense, kind of thing.
Yeah.
But the thing becomes, when you talk about recovering assets, at some point, you have to have some form of authority behind it. And this is what this letter of marque might be implying. That, having this gives you some kind of authority to be able to go to people who actually have power in their hands to recover assets.
Because otherwise, you're just taking down scammers and good stuff and all that. But let's say that you did something about cryptocurrency theft. What now? How do you actually recover the asset? You ask nicely and you say, I have a letter of marque.
Hand over your hardware token, please.
Yep. Which would take us to something that we discussed in one of our very, very first episodes, which is what happens and when do things go kinetic, right? And getting closer to a government, getting closer to military organizations and law enforcement and all that stuff may raise may lower the bar before things become kinetic for all kinds of reasons.
Right.
And of course, it all depends on how much are you going to recover. And these people are going to have high incentives to invest money and time into recovering assets because that's how they're going to make their money. And the government is going to get a portion, and these guys are going to get a portion. And all of a sudden, what do you have? What's the name of those companies? Private military PMCs, private military contractors,
Mercenaries.
So yeah, so basically, so now we're going to have those in the cyber realm, and
don't they already exist? I mean, really? Do you have the A team already out in cyber world?
I hope so.
Well,
although it would be
okay,
the C team then, wouldn't it?
Let's not go there. But yeah. So anyway, it's going to get into Hollywood reality very, very quick. But my worry is what happens when you go against some North Asian country and all of a sudden they decide to retaliate?
Yeah. Or they go after a cartel and the cartel decides to,
Exactly.
because they're not going to go after.
You guys are
talking
about this like it's not happening right now.
It may be
I'm
happening,
100% sure it's happening.
As an authorized,
from our side,
as an authorized extension of the U.S. government.
Of not with privateers, but it's happening.
It may be happening, but you're not seeing anything on the evening news saying that some random room in a university dorm got targeted by an RPG because somebody hacked out.
That we know of, right? I mean,
no, that would be pretty much obvious. You would be seeing that in the news.
Yeah,
but
I agree.
My worry is that this opens a frontier, let's say,
Pandora's
to
box.
become Wild West. To become Wild West, right? So it's starting a weapons race, an arms race that can become kinetic very, very quickly.
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
I don't know if
Let's
it's Wild
step back.
West though. I would be careful about calling it Wild West. It's not like, well, okay. So today, actually, you have folks like the folks who run the Scammer Payback YouTube channel, right? Who are literally taking down data centers and call centers in Asia for people who for scammers who do pig butchering scams, right? For this is bilking elderly people out of their life savings kind of thing, right? And so that's Wild West. That's people taking action on their own. Yes, they have skills. Yes, they're doing it, with not Robin Hood-ish incentives, but they're doing it out of the goodness of their heart. They're volunteering their time, but there's no rules on what they're doing, right? And in fact, they're probably breaking international law in order to do it, right?
Just to give them some protections.
I think that the way that I went to the Wild West is because of the retaliation component.
Mm-hmm.
You're not. I'm not seeing anything coming this guy's way. I'm sure that they have been targeted in the past, and they must be under a lot of eyes. But especially with the component of possibly going kinetic very quick, the Wild West for me is the analogy, because you are going to see the duo at the OK Corral in an ISP close to you.
Well, in the Wild West, there was a big movement of deputization as well, though.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean that the illustration works from that perspective, in that a lot of those folks that were carrying guns and enforcing law were not trained peace officers.
Yeah.
They were kind of sworn into action in times of trouble.
You know the history of the Pinkertons, right?
No.
No, but I vaguely. But
Yeah,
go
you
ahead.
need to look it up. Actually, if you know Expedition Unknown did a episode on the Pinkertons, they were a lot of the blah in the West. And I
Which
think
became Pinkerton Security.
yeah,
right?
they
It
actually still
exists as a
exist. Yeah,
company.
exactly. Yeah. And so, yeah, many of them were effectively privateers. Right.
Those are the guys with the bow hats, right?
and long guns. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, so cool.
It's so cool unless you're, in the way. But and see,
Blazing Saddles.
I'm thinking about the scammer payback folks a little bit more. What we see when they do the videos, obviously we only see what they curate. And they're pretty open. They seem pretty honest, right? But they don't go after. They're not going after the cartel leaders, right? And if you see pictures of what the cartel leaders look like, or the basically the paramilitary folks who are part of the cartels, at least in Mexico and other places, they're not going after those people. They're going after the drug mules and the money mules and whatnot. And those people are usually unarmed, right? The police will take them down.
Because again, you go towards the things that you have the resources to deal with, right?
Right. But they know when they've reached a limit, right? They can only go so far. They're not going to go and physically get involved in many cases. I mean, they went and confronted
Because they
somebody in
don't
a
have
Home
the-
Depot parking lot once with a video camera, but
Because they
if
don't have the resources, right?
yeah, if the guy had
So-
pulled out a gun, I don't know what they would have done. They probably would
But
have.
but that's the thing. The escalation goes that if you have like 4 of those call centers, and they are under the same leadership, and those guys manage to turn off those 4 call centers, the leadership's going to start looking at them as a threat, and
Right.
it's going to respond accordingly. And unfortunately, when the loss is big, then the investment to recover is big. They're going to come back kinetic.
Sure, but they'll come back kinetic in a potentially extrajudicial way. Did I say that right? Where they're not, they're not doing it. They're doing it as a criminal organization and not as a arm of their government.
Right, but the bullets flying don't care. There will be bullets flying. You don't want to get caught into that. And I think that the last thing that we need is more bullets flying, right?
But
So,
you're
I don't
anonymous
know.
on cyberspace, so where are the bullets going to go?
That's the thing. Are they going to stay in cyberspace? I don't think so.
I mean, you're separated by a pretty big geographic distribution there, right? If these guys are going after folks that are call centers primarily in Asia, what are those criminal organizations going to do against these folks in the United States?
Cut undersea cables and turn off the internet.
Well, that happened
PayPal?
just yesterday. So
Yeah.
No, I mean, guys, really, let's be. Oh my goodness, I can't believe that I'm talking about this. So, if you open the back page of Soldier of Fortune magazine, you're going to get enough people willing to do stuff for
Wait, that's a thing for
It's a
real
yeah,
thing.
Soldier of
It's a
Fortune's
thing.
been around for a long time. I used to read it
Yeah.
when I was a kid.
I know, but
So-
it wasn't just stories.
No, it's not just like
No, the classifieds. He's talking about the classifieds in the back.
No,
where you
but
can hire
listen,
mercenaries.
there is. My point is, there's enough dumb
The team
people
is
out
real.
there who are going to do dumb things for dumb money, right?
Come on, we all had a bully that we wanted. That we were looking at that mercenary ad, going, and this bully's about to get it from Sergeant Slaughter
Oh my!
for 50. Paid my $50.
But anyway, so if you don't want to go Soldier of Fortune, there's Craigslist. But the point is that there's
Probably
enough.
better, probably easier. Local
There-
resources.
There's enough dumb people who will do dumb things for dumb money. So I don't think that geographic separation is actually
Yeah.
not today.
And
I got you.
There's also no reason. There's nothing in this bill, at least, that says that the individuals have to even be in the U.S. or even be U.S. citizens for that matter, right? They might
True.
be in their own governments or in their own environments. Maybe they're trying to destabilize the government, right? Maybe they have ulterior motives. Interestingly, Part B of Section 3 of this bill has something interesting. No letter of marque or reprisal shall be issued by the president without requiring a security bond. to ensure that the letter is executed as needed or according to its terms.
Well, that's the funding, right?
That's the no. Well, that's that's the posting of the bond is posted by the individual or organization that's getting the letter of marque.
So they forfeit their money, just like a bail bond.
Right.
If you get bonded out by a bondsman and you run and don't show up in court, you forfeit your money.
Right, but this is basically the organization. The organization gets a letter of marque to go after cryptocurrency, and they take off with the $15 million in crypto and not return it to the U.S. government. They lose the bond. So hopefully, the bond is large enough to balance out the potential loss there.
Okay, sorry, I understood this completely different. So this says that this is basically you have to pay this stall to play in this playground.
Well, you have to be able to cover the cost. I mean, they're not going to give you free reign unless you do the job that you're being free reined to do, which could be recovery.
We're really talking about organizations with pockets.
Yeah. So I want to step back for a second here before we wrap up this episode. I want to get your opinions on. But if we step all the way back to offense is the best defense, a concept that's been around for a long time in security. What are your takes on that? Do you agree with the whole hacking back idea, or do you think it's nonsense?
It's poke the. I think to some extent, I think it's poke the bear. Right? If somebody is coming after you and attacking you, I want to be careful. We know that there are different personas of attackers, right? We put this in our threat models. Who is it coming after us, right? Is it nation states? Is it activists? Is it, script kiddies? We're hacking back a script kiddie versus hacking back a nation state. And you may not know who the actor actually is when you're being attacked, right? Until this is the whole notion of attribution. So attribution. Attribution is hard, right? So that's part of the problem.
Yeah.
So beyond that, we are in 2025. It's the first time that I can remember that security organizations inside companies are having to justify heavily their budget. Okay, we are having to show that yes, we are a cost center, but we do have some kind of return. Do we really want to get some of that budget now and start playing Wild West? Plus, we haven't even gotten to the point where we can eradicate MySQL injection. Do we really want to start poking people around?
Well, right. So I guess that's the other part. Is if an organization wants to take it upon themselves to go on the offense, they should recognize where their own faults are, because it's going to be like the capture the flag event at DEF CON.
Yes, exactly.
Right. And so, because in Tampa, if I understand correctly, and I have never been part of this event, but it sounds exciting. Right. You, as a team, you have a goal where you have to capture flags in the system that's provided for you, but you're able to attack the competing teams, if I understand correctly. Yeah. And so your weaknesses and your defenses are going to be what keeps you're either spending your time attacking, or you're spending your time defending, or you're spending time getting the goal. And can you do it all really well?
Look, if this becomes a thing, you can look for me in the next Black Hat. I'll be the guy in the corner selling leather jackets, dark glasses, and copies of William Gibson literature. Because seriously, don't we have anything better to do?
I mean, I think on the principle of hacking back, I've been against this idea since its very inception in security, and primarily because, to Matt's point about personas, like the nation state, highly funded, highly skilled, you don't want to draw their attention back because they're good. But listen, they're good. Most of the time you don't even know they're there. So let's be honest, in modern enterprises across the world, most of the time when those people are there, you never even know they were there, and they're
So that's-
gone, and they clean their tracks and take the stuff they want, and you never know.
That's the right and sensible way of looking at this. But now I just want to ask one question. Metrics. Nowadays in defense, okay, we already have a problem with metrics. Now, what you're going to start asking you on the stand-up, hey, Carl, how many places have you attacked today?
I hope. That would be awesome. I might go to a stand-up if that was the case.
What I plan to do today is take out Taiwan. And what am I going to do tomorrow? What I
Yeah.
do yesterday?
Exactly.
I mean, it's we're laughing about it, but with the rise of AI and the capabilities to be able to use AI tools to generate things,
Oh,
the
God.
world of breaking stuff just got easier than it was 5 years ago, 2 years ago, 1 year ago.
It did, but you know,
Oh my God!
You
Can you
know
think of the guardrails on AI agents that would?
please. Can't we just go back to what was the program Robot Wars, and just have it like out in an arena? You bring your agents, I'll bring my agents, and whatever happens.
They fight it
Because-
out. I mean, we did have that. It's called the Matrix. Keanu, battled against Agent Smith.
Yeah. For some reason, I'm getting vibes of redhead in a red dress. Anyway, but no, seriously, no. This whole hacking back thing, leave it to the professionals, leave it to law enforcement, leave it to the people who are actually equipped and empowered to do these things. Because otherwise, seriously, what are we even doing here?
It's got to be a great time for defenders.
No, it's
It's the
not.
golden age.
No,
Golden
it's
age of
not.
defenders.
No, it's not. No, it's not.
Those people who are going on the offensive are going to need good defenses.
No.
You go off, have fun storming the castle. I'm here building the castle.
No, because as soon as attacking becomes that prevalent, what happens is people take a step back, take all of their crown jewels off of whatever is even like able to be reached, and then just let the kids attack each other and have fun and back,
Yeah, but
back,
you
back on
can't. You
keyboards
couldn't do
and-
that
and
in this
black on
in this
green.
day and age. An airline's going to take away their online booking system. That's
What you mean?
75% of their business.
You mean that they work on it?
Well, I mean,
Perhaps
that-
that's
they-
the way.
they-
Perhaps that's the way that we get jobs back. We're going to get travel agents because they'll have to actually call people who on their phone will have to back.
yeah, I can see. I can see you doing call phone support. We're like, I'm trying to book a trip, and you're like, "That's the stupidest place you could go." I just want a ticket to Atlanta.
Yeah. Well, but I'm going to complain anyway.
Wait, you could totally threat model that. I want to take it to Atlanta. What could possibly go wrong?
Now I would start with why Atlanta, but fine. Yeah.
What a business idea! Threat modeling on the phone. You call in, and someone's like, "What are you working on, Izar?"
You know that's very, very, very dangerously close to what are you wearing. So
Well, if you ask that question, that's
one
an
HR
HR
check
problem.
modeling. I slowly apply my controls.
So that's the fifth question. That's the fifth question now that you've added to the.
I put on my wizard robes.
1-900 threat model.
Oh boy! Now we're going in the wrong direction. The wrong direction. All right, so I think
We should end it before we go any further.
Yes, that's what I'm about to do. We've reached a consensus.
So many
though. It sounds
ideas
like
right now.
None of us are in favor of hacking back, pirates of the cyber minds, or any of these other types of things. It's I don't know. It's flashy. It could be attention getting, but it's at the end of the day, it's not going to move the needle. It's not going to make your defenses any better to go out and try to get revenge.
It might move the needle, but in the wrong in a direction that you did not think of, not the wrong one that you didn't think of.
Yeah, the consequences may be you may open the door and
We call them
find out there's
side effects.
there's 8 feet of water
We
on
call
the other
them-
side of the door.
We call them unintended consequences.
Yep.
I mean,
Or-
that sounds like what is it? When do we become lawyers?
or violating assumptions.
But
We may-
that
well,
too.
folks, thank you for tuning into the Cybercrime and Law podcast with three people who aren't lawyers and but
Well,
we have
lawyers.
ChatGPT.
or connection to law enforcement.
Yeah,
Both
but we
play
got a
one
lot
in
of
the internet.
opinions. So, all right, folks, thanks for listening to the Security Table.